Whenever you go to the doctor, you're really only seeing the very surface, the tip of the iceberg, because underneath all of that, there's this hidden world. I'm talking codes, special workflows, even a secret language that makes the whole thing tick. And today, yeah, we're going to pull back that curtain. And a lot of the time, that hidden world starts with something that looks, well, a lot like this. Seriously, look at it. Is this a grocery list? Some kind of secret message? Nope. These are real, day-to-day instructions from inside a clinic. And our mission, together, is to figure out what on earth they're talking about. So here's the deal. We've actually managed to get our hands on the internal documents from a real nephrology practice that's a kidney clinic. And we're going to use their own notes and their training manuals to learn how to speak their language. And here's how we're going to do it. Think of the clinic's official training manuals and their cheat sheets as our Rosetta Stone. We're going to use them to translate this jumble of shorthand into something that actually makes sense. All right, you ready? Let's put on our detective hats and start cracking some of these codes. We're going to start with one of the most critical abbreviations that just keeps showing up in these notes. Okay, so take a look. Across these different notes, you see these letters over and over, ESRD. What do you think that means? Well, let's look at the evidence we have. Okay, this is our first huge clue. The note says, no labs for ESRD, and then it gives a reason. They are done by dialysis. Aha, that connection right there, dialysis, that's the key. So just think, what kind of medical condition requires dialysis? And bam, the clinic's own reference sheet gives us the answer. It turns out they measure kidney function with something called a GFR score. And if you look right here, a score below 15, that means kidney failure. And that is ESRD, end-stage renal disease. Mystery solved? Awesome. Once you have that first key, the whole language starts to unlock. Suddenly, looking at the other notes and training docs, we can just rapid-fire decode this stuff. PN, that's a progress note. CN is a consult note. DS is a discharge summary. TTE, that's a transthoracic echo, an echo of the heart. And US renal, yeah, you probably guessed it, a renal ultrasound. See, we're learning the lingo. Okay, so cracking the handwritten notes is one thing, but all of this information, it has to live somewhere, right? In any modern clinic, that somewhere is a massive digital system. You can think of it as the clinic's digital brain. And this, right here, this is our bridge from the paper world to the digital one. This note gives a crystal clear order. Check Epic for labs. That one word, Epic, that's our ticket inside the clinic's digital brain. So what is Epic? Well, it's one of the biggest electronic health record, or EHR, systems in the entire world. The best way to think about it is like the central nervous system for a hospital. It manages pretty much everything: patient records, lab results, scheduling, billing, the whole shebang. But here's the thing, it's almost never just one piece of software. The training docs show this clinic is using a whole digital ecosystem. They've got info coming from a workflow manager called Practice Fusion, lab data from something called the Quest portal, and all of it has to be pulled together. These different systems have to talk to each other to build that one complete picture of a patient's health. Okay, so we've decoded some of the secret language and we've peeked inside their digital toolkit. Now for the fun part. Let's see how all these pieces actually come together in a real-world workflow. Okay, this is so cool. The training manual literally lays out their pre-charting process step by step. So check this out. Before a patient even walks in the door, a medical assistant is already printing their medication list, reviewing their latest labs, and comparing trends for those key values like creatinine or eGFR. Hey, that's that kidney function score we figured out earlier. They even scan in the handwritten blood pressure logs that patients bring from home. And get this, for a patient who was just in the hospital, the process is even more intense. The team has to review the entire hospital stay, hunt down the specific notes from the kidney specialist, double-check that all the imaging was completed, and then get their hands on that final discharge summary, or DS, as we now know. It's basically a highly structured investigation for every single patient. Now, this is maybe the most important point of all. These incredibly complex systems, they aren't run by robots. They're run by a dedicated team of actual human beings, skilled professionals who are making critical decisions every single day. And believe me, the stakes are incredibly high. Just look at these blood pressure guidelines from their own training manual. A medical assistant has to know instantly that a systolic pressure over 180 is a hypertensive crisis. They also have to know that a reading of 160 means they need to alert a doctor, like right now. This isn't just typing in numbers. This is serious clinical judgment.
And it really does take a whole village to make this system work. I mean, the documents mention all these different roles. You've got office admins, people who just handle referrals and billing, remote staff doing follow-up calls. There are even interns helping with the super tedious job of medication reconciliation. It's a massive team effort.
And look, this whole system definitely doesn't run on autopilot. This certificate right here shows that the people behind the scenes are constantly learning, constantly staying up to date. And it's that dedication, that commitment to always be learning that makes this whole complex machine actually work for the patient. So there you have it. We've decoded the secret notes, we've mapped the hidden workflow of just one clinic, and it totally pulls back the curtain on the complexity behind a simple doctor's visit. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What other invisible systems are humming away silently in the background of our lives, just waiting for someone to come along and decode them?